Hello everyone, Zane here and welcome to another Final Fantasy XIV video. Today I'm going to show you guys where to find the 20 new blue mage spells that were added in patch 6.45. So the very first open world spell that we're going to be getting is the Goblin Punch from the hobgoblins in the east coast of Kolusia at the bottom half. It's one of those auto attacks that he does, so it's not something that's telegraphed. So we're just going to drain them while we wait. There it is. So usually he does like 3 auto attacks before he does Goblin Punch. So kill him and hopefully you get it on your first shot. Alright. So here we are in Armerang, right about here near the entrance. And you want to kill the slippery armadillo. So we're looking for a move called Hydration. So he'll do a couple of auto attacks and then he'll automatically cast Hydration. And there it is. After that, kill him, and hopefully you get in your first shot. If not, rinse and repeat. Alright, now we're going to come over here to the well area, and then we're going to be killing another armadillo for another spell called Schiltron. Alright, so I'll see you guys when we get over there. Alright, so here we are by the well dungeon, and we're going to be looking for the long-tailed armadillo. So you're looking for an attack or a spell called Schiltron. So drain him while you're waiting for it to cast. Alright, there it is. And now you can go ahead and kill him. And that will be the final open world spell. A little bit disappointed they only gave us 3, but there you go. You will need all 3 to do the blue mage quests to get to the next mass carnival. So all the 3 of these are important. Alright, so now that's all the way. Now we're going to go through all the dungeons and the trials to get the rest of them. So the first spell that we're getting from the first dungeon is going to be Dawn Mag's Candy Cane. It's a tank buster, so make sure you prepare to heal after getting hit by it. Doing this synced will guarantee you get this spell 100% of the time. The well dungeon will get right round. After doing head toss, which is a stack marker, he will then retrieve his ball and then rotate it around the room, and that is what you're looking for. The last boss in Gulg will give you the conviction attack. When they come back down with their clones, when this attack goes off, that is what you're going to be getting. In the final fight of Amorout, the final boss will use apokolypsis. Make sure you're standing on the platform that is not cracked, otherwise you will fall to your death. So the final boss of the hero's gauntlet is where you'll learn Wild Rage. When it goes and makes the giant hole in the ground, that's the spell you're going to end up getting. In Matoyas Relic, Mudman will give you peat pelt. Once they are tethered to you and you send them into the vortex, that is when you're going to get the spell. Now Nixie, the second fight in Matoya's Cave, will give you the sea shanty, which is the ultimate attack. You must be on top of the cloud, or you will die to the attack. Deep Clean comes from the very first boss in the Grand Cosmos, from the brooms. After that, kill the boss and you'll get your Deep Clean. Mortal Flame will come from the last boss in the Grand Cosmos. Make sure you pass the flame to a piece of furniture, so this way you don't die automatically from the ability. Divination Ruin will come from Titania's Tank Buster in the first phase. Her second attack, being mortal, is going to come from when you do the add phase. This is non-skippable, so you always will see it. Innocence Winged Reprobation is going to be in the second phase, and this is going to be the AoE that rotates around the room. That is the attack that you're looking for. Ruby Weapons, Ruby Dynamics is going to be his claw attack that you see here. The good thing about this is you do not need to do phase 2 on the nail in order to get Ruby Dynamics. It actually comes from defeating the first phase. Eden's Resurrection against Eden Prime will give you Dimensional Shift. This is something that you always will see during the fight, so you definitely cannot miss this. Eden Eternity fight, the laser eye is what you're going to be looking for, and it's the pushback that happens during one of the ice shatters. So you definitely cannot miss the laser eye. So the two totem spells are going to be from getting level 80 Blue Mage and then getting 120 spells, I believe. So these are the only two totems that we will get in Shadowbringers. And that's how you get those. Simple as that. Alright, so that was going to be all the 20 spells that were added in for Shadowbringers expansion. A little bit underwhelming, but I really wish there were more. Alright, so let's go over them now. So first is 105 Goblin Punch. Deals physical damage with a potency of 120, 220 when executed from the front. Potency is increased to 220 while under the effect of Mighty Guard, 320 when executed from the front. So this is perfect for tanks or soloing when you're only doing damage from the front. So this is a must-have. Right Round. Completely, absolutely useless in my opinion. Deals physical damage with a potency of 110 to all enemies nearby. 10 Yalm knockback to your enemies and your party members. Cannot be used outside of combat or when suffering certain enfeeblements. Schiltron. Counters enemies' unexpected damage every time you suffer physical damage. 50 potency for 15 seconds. Goes up to 100 under the tank mimicry. Cannot be used with Veil of the Whirl or Ice Spikes. Rehydration. This was very promising until I looked at the cast time. It will drop with your spell speed as you increase it. So restores HP with your potency of 600, but like I said, the cast time is very, very long and is not used for emergency purposes. Number 109, Breath of Magic. This is something that I think people are confused by. Deals unexpected damage over time with a potency of 120 to all enemies in a cone before you for 60 seconds. Only one effect inflicted by this action can be active at one time. This means that you cannot do two people with Breath of Magic. You have to coordinate with your party who is going to bring this. This does not erase other dots. Okay, you can stack them with Song of Torment, Night Bloom, Bad Breath, Aqua Breath. They can stack. Some people got that confused. Wild Rage, the other one that I also think is absolutely a pointless, useless spell. It has a cast time of 4.46 seconds based off your spell speed, and it costs HP and not MP, which is absolutely bogus. Deals physical damage to all enemies nearby with 500 potency for the first enemy and 50% for the less, so you also have fall off damage, and it consumes half of your maximum HP. Peat Pelt. Deals earth damage to target all enemies nearby it with a potency of 100 for the first and 50 for the rest. Pretty weak, if you ask me. Afflicts the target with begrimed for 10 potency of damage over 9 seconds. But the thing is, it works with Deep Clean. Deals physical damage to all enemies nearby with a potency of 200 for the first and 50 for the rest. Additional effect grants 1 stack of Spick and Span, but takes begrimed off your enemies, with a maximum of 6 stacks, which gives you a regen of 50 potency. The potency is increased to 300 when at 6 stacks for 15 seconds. This cannot be reapplied until it falls off. So if you use it while it's active, it will not reset it. Okay, the potency is kind of weak without healer mimicry, so if you're trying to mass pull with this, I recommend not doing it. Number 113, Ruby Dynamics. Deals physical damage with a potency of 220 to all enemies before you. No fallout damage. But it shares a recast timer with Chthonian Gate and Rose of Destruction. Number 114, Divination Ruin. Deals unexpected damage, a potency of 100 to all enemies in a cone before you, and restores MP for each enemy hit. So it's AoE Blood Drain. And it's only best effective with multiple enemies. Next, Dimensional Shift. Basically AoE Missile. Delivers an attack with all nearby enemies dealing damage equal to 30% of their current HP. Has no effect on anybody higher than your own. It has a long cast time of 4.46 seconds based off your spell speed. So like I said, this is AoE Missile, but it does not miss. So that is the drawback, is the cast time. Other than that, it's not really useful most of the time because you can just ultra vibration. But if you're doing mass pulling, you can use this. But like I said, it has a long cast time, so it does have its drawbacks. Next is Conviction Maracato, or I'd probably call it Morsato, however you pronounce it. Deals unexpected damage to all enemies in a straight line before you with a potency of 220 for the first and 50% for the less. Potency is increased to 440 when you're under the effect of Winged Redemption. This is going to be innocent, so it's going to be a combination attack. Alright? 117, Force Field, is a Sephiroth based attack, which basically tells you, but it comes from the Totems. So it grants physical vulnerability down or magical vulnerability down for 10 seconds, either or, and you don't pick and choose. This reduces the damage in its respective field by 50%. Would be more viable if we got to choose, maybe based off of the attack that hit us last, but no, it's just RNG. Recast timer is affected by spell speed. Winged Reprobation. Deals physical damage to all enemies in a straight line before you for 300, 50% for the remaining. It goes up to 4 stacks, so you can use it 4 times in a row. And it changes to Winged Redemption after its 4th hit, making the Conviction Morsato or Mercado hit for a stronger potency. And you have about 10 seconds to activate that ability. Okay, so if we go back to the old one, like I said, it's 440 potency in combination with Reprobation. Laser Eye, if you do not remember this, this is Croesus's limit break by default in Final Fantasy VIII. So it deals unexpected damage to target and all enemies nearby with potency of 220, 50% for the fall off. 5 Yalm knockback. This is not great if you're trying to hit everybody together. Alright? But it has a 25 Yalm range, so it's a pretty good AoE to use for if you have to disengage from the enemy. 120, Candy Cane. This is the tank buster from the first boss, as like I showed you. There's unexpected damage to target and all enemies nearby it with a potency to 50 for the first and 50 remaining enemies. Lowers strength and dexterity for 10%. This is the opposite of Magic Hammer, and it lasts for 10 seconds and replenishes 1000 HP. And it shares a recast timer with Magic Hammer. 121, Mortal Flame. This one's a little bit tricky, so I'll explain it at the end. Deals fire damage over time with a potency of 40. Only one can be executed at one time. Otherwise, it'll get rewritten by whoever put it out next. So it's basically the same thing as Breath of Magic. Now, the thing is with Mortal Flame, this is permanent until the enemy dies. Or you die and you have to re-aggro it. Because if you lose aggro on your enemy, this falls off the enemy, of course. And so it can be used outside of battle. So when you're doing this with a team, make sure you convey who's taking Mortal Flame and who's taking Breath of Magic, so you guys don't overwrite. So this is permanent until the damn enemy dies, which is pretty freaking awesome. So Sea Shanty, which is the weirdest ability I've seen, deals water damage, a potency of 500 to all nearby enemies, no fallout damage. But here's the thing, it goes up to 1000 potency during rain, showers, or thunderstorms. Most dungeons don't have changing weather. The only thing that I can think of this being powerful is during Ramuh, during the Eden Raid, because I think there's thunderstorm weather in that fight. Other than that, that potency is just useless unless you're using it in the open world. Next, Apokolypsis. Does potency and damage 140 to all nearby enemies in a straight line before you. You cannot move while doing this ability. It's like Phantom Flurry. And it lasts for 10 seconds. This will share a recast timer with being mortal, which is the next one, and the final one, which is probably one of the best attacks I've ever seen. Does 800 potency damage for the first enemy and 50 for the remaining. shares a recast timer apokolypsis. This is a heavy truck hitting ability, especially if you're doing it against a single target. Alright, so those are going to be the 20 spells that you get in Shadowbringers. In a separate video, I'll be showing you guys my loadout for different things that you're going to be doing with your blue mage. Alright, so guys, that's pretty much going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you're new for more Final Fantasy XIV content and join the First Brood. If you guys want to join my Discord server, the link is going to be in the description down below. And if you guys want to support me further, I do have YouTube memberships available, and a link to my Patreon will also be in the description down below. So until next time, may forever walk in the glorious light of Lord Bahamut, and always remember to keep forging ahead. Good luck!